Hello everyone and welcome to PeaCouch, aka Pea's Couch, the permanent home of classic commentary on all of my channels. And as always, my name is Jimmy and I'm happy you could spend just a few minutes of your time with me today. As the very first episode of this, and probably the trailer for this channel, I figured what better topic of commentary than the very first thing that comes to mind when you meet me? My username. Where'd that come from and how do you pronounce it? Well, that's the story I have for you today. It's not that long of a story, so hopefully the channel trailer will be nice and concise, easily consumable, if you will. So where exactly did my name come from? Well, first of all, let's start with how to pronounce it, because it seems like everybody and their mother has a problem pronouncing my name. My name is pronounced Peacuch, which is exactly the way it sounds phonetically speaking. And I'll expound on that later on in the video, but for now, I'd like to answer the question of where exactly did it come from? What was I doing? What game was I playing that I needed that kind of a username, you know? That's what I want to talk about first. And that's going to take me all the way back to when I was 13 or something, playing a video game on the internet, like a web-based game called Grepolis. And boy, if anyone even remotely knows what that game is, I mean, I think it's still up and running, but wow, if you remember it from back then, kudos to you. I mean, that's some old stuff. That's some old head stuff. The game itself is basically like a MMO conquest game where the entire map is just all these tiny little islands, and there's no continental island. And on those little islands is where the players would be. So you get your little city on the island and then you build it up strong enough that you can either take over your own island or you could have sailed out and taken over people anywhere you wanted, but you had to have the actual military and the strategy and whatever. But the point is, that was the game. And fun fact, I think that's the very first game I ever did a microtransaction on, where you spend $5 or whatever and you can build your cities a little faster. But man, that was the very first time a microtransaction ever got me. I was like, I need this. I have to. I need my cities to grow faster. That guy over there on the other side is growing way faster than me. The only explanation is that he's paying for it. Man, that was a time. But yeah, just like every other game, you put in a username and mine ended up being Peacuch. Which, yes, if you can hear it already, is actually just the word Peacachu, like the Pokemon Pikachu, but it's spelled phonetically. I was taught from a very early age with dyslexia that I should spell everything out phonetically and basically just throw letters at it that sound like they should be in there. But of course, English is the most ridiculous language, so none of the actual vowels that you use are actually the correct ones. So anyway, and plus, not to mention the fact that Pikachu is actually a Japanese word /name /made up name, and then translated into an English name that is separate from it, I think. So, I was completely lost and had no way of winning that fight. But anyway, PEA is P, CU is K, like bruh, the U is a bruh sound, and then CH is obviously ch. And yeah, I may have forgotten the U at the end, but I don't want to talk about that. That's not important right now. And this is a little embarrassing, but I remember a long time ago, that was my way of life. That was the only way I could spell anything. I had to sound it out piece by piece, and that was it. That whatever my English teacher got, that's it. You get what you get, and I sounded it out. That was my entire life back then. But the more interesting thing that ended up happening was before I came up with that name, I was in a complete down spiral. I could not figure out what I should name myself. And for the longest time, I think it took me probably months where I was writing down names that I was like, okay, maybe this could be my username, researching other people's usernames. I was watching PewDiePie. I was watching Jacksepticeye, I was watching Tobuscus, I think, way back then. And all of those channels had these cool names. I was like, wow, I really wish I could have a cool name like that, but I don't have anything like that. And after so long of waiting around and checking my list and taking things off my list and asking my family and my friends, what should I call myself? And everybody just coming up with these ridiculous names, especially my friends coming up with names that I could never even say right now. I could never even say online. But it was the strangest experience. The whole purpose of creating a username is that's going to be you for forever. And when you create a YouTube channel, a lot of times the old YouTube channels, the old people who got famous on YouTube, they all just had a random name or some random thing that came up, and they didn't have to really think about it all that hard. But I felt Like, I had to think about it really seriously because that was going to be my name forever. Like, if I ever got really big or really famous, people are going to walk up to me on the street and be like, you're so-and-so. And that name, I felt, had to be like really special. But I was really wrong about that. I mean, I spent so much time worrying and stressing about what the name was going to be. And when it all came said and done, it was just a name that I just had and came up with. And it is what it is now. But after the longest time, I ended up getting all the way back to the end of my list, cutting everything out and thinking to myself, like, there's never going to be a name. And I don't even remember how it happened, but eventually I came across a name, Evolve. And I was like, ooh, that could be cool. Like, that was one of the last things on the list, I guess, before I crossed it off. And I actually created a YouTube channel called Evolved Gaming. And I don't know what happened to that channel. There's a very good possibility that that channel is actually the original like channel of mine, and I somehow changed the name on it. Like, I might might actually, now that I think about it, that might actually be true, but I don't really remember how it happened or where that channel went. If it's still up, I don't think there's even a single video on it, but you might be able to find it. I have no idea how you would. But anyway, I had like this kind of idea about Evolved, and I was like, kind of like that. But eventually, I just scrapped that idea and went straight to Peacuch, which it was like kind of a defeat where I was done looking for names and Evolve didn't sound right. And I just, like, out of pure frustration, put Peacuch in. I was like, fine, that'll be it. This will just be it. And after I made like a couple of videos, it stuck so hard to me. Like, and every time I thought about like making YouTube videos, I was like, yeah, I'm Peacuch. That's me. And it just followed me into every website I went to. Like, back I went into Tapastic, the comic creation site, which nobody uses anymore apparently. But I went into there and I was like, all right, well, I'm Peacuch. I'll just use that. And it just stuck. It just stuck, and I flew with that. And it may be a little bit weird coming from a person who barely ever posts anything on YouTube, even though I'm trying to change that now, to say like, oh, if you're trying to get into the internet space, you're trying to make a YouTube channel, you're trying to make a username for yourself, just use something that comes naturally. Something, maybe a joke that happened one time, or just something completely mundane. You don't have to stress over it as much as I did. Like, for 2 weeks at a time, don't stress over it. I mean, I know nowadays, like, the kids that are trying to create YouTube channels, they grew up in a time where every game and every app and everything forces you to have a username. And I'm sure that most kids probably already have one. And the basic story is just, well, that was my username when I was 5 years old or whatever. And that's fine. Just use something that feels comfortable to use. Don't stress over it, because otherwise you're going to just take weeks of your life up and eventually end up with the same username that you already have. So for real, stressing over your username, changing a username, that sort of stuff doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all. And as cliche as it sounds, as long as you feel comfortable with it, nothing else matters. So yeah, that's basically the entire story of my name. I think the most interesting part for people who don't have it is probably the dyslexia part. And yeah, sometimes you'll hear me say like, quote unquote, I can't read or I don't read. And that's kind of a lot of the case. I usually find like some kind of listening software like text-to-speech or something, and I just throw whatever it is in there and listen to it. Like, usually if someone's message is like, I don't know, 3 or 4 lines long, I just copy and paste it into there because it would take me way too long to read it. So when you hear me say that about myself, like, oh, I can't read, it's kind of partially true that I do have a hard time reading. Oh yeah, and then this channel, where did I get the name for this channel from, right? PeaCouch. It's kind of similar. It looks almost like the same word, just got an O in it. Well, that one came from one of my best friends in the whole world, Belted Yapper. And I believe he was trying to make a joke about my name being kind of sounding like Peacuch, because everyone seems to get it wrong for some reason. Like, I've gotten Peacuch sometimes, and like, I don't understand that because it's a U. The sound is It's like a sound, not an oo sound. Like, an oo sound is 2 O's next to each other, isn't it? Like, am I crazy? Am I dyslexic right now? Like, I think that was the joke he was trying to make. But yeah, Belted Yapper's the guy who came up with that. He wrote it on like this big light board that he bought me and left it behind me, and I ended up actually recording a video and not even realizing that it said Peacuch behind me. So yeah, there's that. And if you happen to catch a video where like he's in it, I call him Bob, and I believe I'm one of the very few people in the world who has the privilege of calling him Bob, and perhaps even the status to call him that. And I say that because if you come across him and maybe see his channel, talk to him or something like that, please call him Belted Yapper, because I really don't think anybody is able to call him Bob other than me and my friends. So just remember that next time you see him for me. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be the new home of all my commentary stuff, and probably some life stories if I really decide to do that. Most of the time I'm way too busy or lazy to create like those animatic kind of life story things. I know they get a lot of views. I might eventually do one or two, like save the best stories for one of those animatic things if I decide to do it. And that'll probably be posted onto my art channel instead of this channel or the main channel. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed a little Destiny content in the background. If you want to, subscribe to here for the commentary, and go to the main channels to subscribe for all the main channel content. The gaming, art, and I guess real life stuff and streams, all those things have different channels now. So if you want those things, you got to go find them. They're not going to be on here. This is just going to be commentary. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, and before I forget, if you're interested in this channel and what has motivated me and inspired me to make this channel, all that story is probably going to be in the next video. So look forward to that. And now that the video's over, can I just talk about this match? Because I'd recorded like 2 or 3 matches where I just got my absolute Baba Booey handed to me. Like, unbelievably bad gameplay, and I was like, I can't post this. I can't use this as a channel trailer. I have to like get a win, you know. It has to be a good match. And boy, oh boy, this match was insane. I usually seeing like 3 Titans playing a match with you, you're like, oh crap, you're gonna get wiped. I'm absolutely gonna get slammed on this round. But oh my god, me and the rest of these other 2 guys, we really pulled this one out. Like, this was a very, very good game. And I'm not going to spoil to you, like, the ending of this game. But judging from my happiness, maybe you can tell what happened. But, man, and I can't just, like, leave the video before you see the end of it. Because if you were actually invested in finding out, like, the ending of it, what am I going to do? Leave you alone with your thoughts? Like, oh, did he win? They were 3 for 3. Which team won in the very end, you know? So I'll sit here. I'll sit here with you and watch it. Yeah, I think it was that guy, Fallen Knight or whatever his name was. He was crazy, dude. Fallen Knight, I'll tell you right now, he got more kills than I did. And he protected me a lot. He really put in that work. But this is it. This is like the last round right here. That guy comes out. This guy runs out. And bam! I don't even know how I made that shot. I don't know how I made that shot. And did I even actually kill the guy? I'm going to go back in the video and just check while the credits are going on. Because I don't even think I killed him, right? Like, yeah, I killed the first guy and the second guy, but no, I didn't kill the last guy. Oh, wow. That's crazy. It was a very good match. Very well done to my team, and to the other team, GG. Like, you guys were really crazy. Really crazy good. Yeah, look at that. Look at that score. That score is absolutely absurd. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later, and goodbye.